ultimate low point. That's why we're having that buy limit. Then also for the high. You could have your short. A target of about 150 pips is usually fine. So now we play price. So price doesn't trigger you in by how many pips? You miss entry by about 20 pips, but it's still fine. So wait out for the swing shot. Still, you can only stop loss is about 50, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're considering the 50 because you think the SL is going to be hit. No, you're trying to be conservative in a way. So open. So price fills you in. So you have that short all the way to where price is currently. So now, like I said, usually what these events do is to complete an overall move. This could be the same thing for literally almost like all pairs. So for this case, if you're trying to follow whatever price is doing, regardless of what the news events might come in to do, so you have this as an extremely key area. Remember when you're looking for shorts for pairs like, let's say EU, G is a little bit strong. For pairs like, let's say USD, you have pairs like CAD CHF. You have pairs like NZD USD. You have pairs like what else? Could be NZD CAD. Then with these pairs, you may not necessarily expect to hold up to 100 pips because they have an extremely low pip value. Then for pairs like GJ, if GJ is to give you, you're going to have GBP JPY. Like I said, I don't trade all this. This is for educational purposes. I only trade gold. You have GBP JPY. You have GBP NZD. Now these, even with a stop loss of about 50 pips, price can still slip through a little. So you'd have to consider them with extremely low risk if you're swinging them. Because with a swing trade, you're going to have up to close to 200 or 250 pips or even 300 pips. So there's no reason as to why you should. I personally don't recommend full margin, but I see a lot of you guys do it. That's something you might have maybe consulted with whoever told you to do full margin. But I wouldn't recommend full margin. Neither would I recommend a 0.01. But I usually try to bring it in this sense to the guys that bash people who use small lot sizes. You see, with conventional business, for instance, the guys, I usually give this example like a lot of times. If someone is driving a bike or riding a bike, let's say for conventional businesses, for people that you recommend as people that have money in society, a guy has, let's say, maybe 5 bikes, each bike could have cost about $1,500, you get. So those bikes, the guy for four bikes, the guy could have spent about $6,000, you know. But at the end of every, let's say, week, the guy is going to be expecting to get, let's say, $20. That's 70,000. I think that's what most of those guys bring in. 70,000 EGX, about $20 per charge that someone is driving for that guy. So those are $20 at the end of the week with an investment of $1,500. So if you multiply 20 times 4, the guy is going to be getting how much? About $80, right? With an investment of how much? Of $6,000. Tell me how. Tell me whether it wouldn't be so dumb for someone to have an investment of, let's say, 1,500, and you go full margin on that whole account, trying to scrap off, let's say, you want to gain maybe 3K or 5K, or you want to flip the account to like 10K. It's extremely crazy. But now, the guy who has deposited just $100, you're risking with a 0.01, even a 0.02. With a 50 pip stop loss, you're looking at having, like, let's say, $10 risk. But if a trade goes your way, a trade of 150 pips, these are about $15. You get. So you've actually made way more than someone who invested 1,500 by using proper risk management. You get. The times within which you flip an account to gain profit, may happen, but on very many occasions, it's going to be really hard for you to keep that money. Okay, so coming back in here, you have GBP JPY for the pairs that have extremely wide, like a wide range of pip movement. You're going to be having GBP JPY, GBP NZD. You're going to be having gold. You could have GA. So those are going to be your pairs, So with those, you can swing and hold for, like, let's say, more than 50 pips. So coming to NFP, because I honestly have to have a stand of what I think. Since these are my extremely key level points of price, I've already marked out this one. How have I been in position to get them? Yes, there are these highs, but they may not be as significant as the highs and lows of the weekly time frame. So if you look at the previous week, if maybe we had this price, if today was NFP, there's an easy NFP we had, the one I told you of Hotel Triangle. Price came to the low, like it hadn't hit neither of these highs or lows. So oftentimes when you're trading, let's say you want to trade news, and there's a candle that hasn't been yet touched by price, a fresh candle that hasn't been yet touched by price. Yes, let's say we have our current candlestick, it could be bullish. I want you to get the overall sense of this. You're going to be bullish. It has its wicks. So this is quite small. Let me just try to elongate it to make it look significant. So let's say this was our current candlestick and maybe price is around here. An NFP is coming through. What you should always look out for are these highs. You get this extreme high and this extreme low. Be it CPI. Like I told you, I stopped trading those things, but I think I posted a couple of them. Those of you guys that have Telegram, you can go and scroll through some group called the Forex Emperors. I no longer post things in there, but I used to. So you can look at some of those examples, but the entry criteria is the same. There are moves we got that had up to, there's a move we had on USD that had close to that had close to 1,000 pips over, something like that. So those moves can actually, the style can actually work for you. But if you're the kind of person that's entirely impatient, then you most definitely have to maybe scalp. But even when you're scalping, even when you're on those smaller time frames, you always have to have price points that you're checking out for, because price will come to this high. Let's say we have NFP and we have this candlestick, let's say around here. Price will most definitely come to this high of this candlestick, either slick through slightly or even hit the top, the exact top, or drop to some level like around here, then drop. So with that overall system, we have three. Let me go to H4 so that I can be in position to denote properly. For that overall system, we have we have something like this. You have three entry criteria. You have one where price, let's say this is our key price point now, the week on the weekly time frame. You can do the same thing on the monthly time frame, but the monthly time frame you're going to be looking out for extremely long time swing setups, if I may say. Sorry. So the very first criteria is, the very first entry model is going to be of this. Let's hold up. You're going to be having where price comes to the exact high that week, then drop all the way to the downside. You're going to be having where price comes slid through slightly. Now, the one where price slits through slightly, that is why you have to have a consideration of the stop loss. I know, like I said, this thing is not to superimpose things on you. You can always go back and back test it for yourself. Or you can get the basic plan for trading view. It's about 60k. You can get it. You don't have to have it, but if you can, it will be better for you. But you don't necessarily have to have it. Then you go and back test and see the average difference within which price goes against you when you're using this system. So in most cases, it's going to be about a maximum of about 50 pips, unless the pairs are I think I've deleted them. Unless the pairs are gold, you have GBP JPY, you have GBP AUD, GBP NZD, Euro NZD, all those crazy pairs. But if pairs are like EU, you can be safe with the 50 pip stop loss, because in most cases, even if it is NFP, because NFP is extremely aggressive, price will slip through for like, let's say 36 pips, then go away. So it's really worth for you to use, let's say, proper risk management. You could use like a 0.02, maximum like 0.03. If a trade goes in your favor for, let's say, completion of a move of NFP, because NFP can start like at 3:30, then the aggressiveness of the move can even end like at 7 or 8 p.m. So if that trade has gone your way within that trigger from a key price point, you can actually hold that trade for that long. And in most cases, those trades could amount to 100 pips, maybe say 90. Even if it is 80, it's still okay, because that's $8 times about 3. You're like 24 with a 0.03 risk. But now, if you would have lost, you would have lost about, like, let's say, if you have a 0.03, which I would recommend, like, as a huge lot size. These things of deadening the chart, that's it's not bad if you define your risk in this kind of regard. If you have, let's say, $1,000, you split that account to, let's say, 4 partitions, and each of those partitions you're going all in. It will be the same way as someone who puts a single who puts stacks of, let's say, 0.01, like 10 positions, and they're willing to risk about, let's say, 0.1 times 50, about 50 pips on that trade. So 50 times 0.01 times 10, which is the average market value, plus the person will also be losing $50. You get with a 0.1. So now what you're doing, the only difference between you doing full margin, as opposed to using proper risk management, it depends on the account size. If you want to do full margin, you don't do full margin on all your funds. You have 2K, you put the whole 2K in there, and then you load like 5 standards. That's extremely crazy. But if you have that 2K, you break it down into, let's say, 4 or 5 partitions. I personally wouldn't have a problem with you doing your full margin, whichever way you want it. But all in all, trading is something like a growth process. You can literally grow money. The chances within which you're going to flip those accounts may not be too many, because this is a probability game. Even when you have a high key price setup, like it's pinpoint accuracy, that setup could show you fire. So the 3 entry models, you have one where price comes to the extreme high. You have one where price goes and slips through the high. That's why I said we have a stop loss. These ones are usually good. Price just stops and then reverses. Then the other one, you have price coming close to the entry point, then reverse. So while back testing, because all these things are back tested and proven, you can also go back and do it. The one where price comes to a high, like let's say this. Let's say this is our high point. A high point like the week of the weekly time frame candlestick, the very last candlestick. We are in this week. We are coming into the next week. The highs and lows of the weekly candlestick, the price will leave this week will be our starting point coming into next week. You mark them up. You mark the high, you mark the low. You go and trade your supply and demand. You go and trade your SMC. You go and trade your ICT. You go and trade your price action technicals or whatever. But those key points will always be respected by price, you like it or not. If it isn't respected by price wouldn't have been a significant area of price. So if you look to the left where price bounces off from on the weekly time frame and you try to draw a line on that week, you'll always see a candlestick towards the left that price tapped into and then reversed all the way to the downside. So I'm still explaining. The one where price comes and this is our high point, price comes, it doesn't hit the extreme high, it doesn't go above the extreme high. On a smaller time frame, like let's say H4 to the left, price will have left a leg with something like this. So now as you're trading, you're expecting price to come to the extreme high, but price left a leg on this. I don't know why, but these things are proven. Like you sit on the chart, you study, you give it your chart time. Everyone can create their own strategies if you have the seriousness and the willingness to sit on your chart. Suppose you come to a level like that, don't bounce. You get, like I said, those examples are in that group, but I don't want to trade like that because I don't want to hold trades for like a week, a month. But it's good trading, you get. You can utilize it if you're a patient kind of person. It completely has no problem, you know. But maybe to explain as to why I switched from this at that time, when we were trading prop firms, these days they've changed. But back then they had 30-day like maximum trading day rule. But now it has been eliminated. But I personally lost a lot of challenges. I would have good setups, but the setups are going to take long. But you're not so sure which setup is going to give you, like, you know, you could take one, it goes, it's a good swing, you hold for like 200 pips or 150 pips or even 300. Then you get another one, you're going to hold it for long, price is indecisive, but time is going. Later on, it hits your stop loss. After hitting your stop loss, then it goes your way. So you have to come back and place another trade, which you're also going to hold. So with that, time would catch up with you. You fail the challenge because the days are done, you get, and then you have to buy another one. So you have to create a system that is dedicated to, let's say, intraday trading. That's why I came to trading gold. But it doesn't necessarily mean that this is extremely a wrong system. So going into my NFP analysis before any other of those meters gets to come in. So this is what I'm personally looking at of the reasons I've given you. So I'll come to my chart, move this back testing, eliminate everything. So I have this high on the weekly time frame that has already been tapped into. It's right here. This. So I'm going to mark it. I can even extend it to the left because this being a weekly time frame, these areas may seem like weeks, but when you go to a smaller time frame, they're going to be those areas you guys look at as areas of support and resistance. So coming into next week, maybe you might have to first start off with this candlestick. If it's broken today during NFP and price maybe closes, it could come in here, tap into this one, or drop in here. Or even when price pushes to the upside, now the consideration is going to be the one above. So I'll first of all mark up my key price point. So I could eliminate this one because this one price is still in movement. So I'm going to take off this. So these are the levels I have. So price either taps into this or it continues to the upside. So I go back to my, but now when you're bullish, if you can see, this is some kind of like a key level of price, similar. Here we have this, I don't know what price didn't tap into. We have this low here, price tapped into it. Then we go to, let's say, H4. Those areas are now entirely clear, like basic as it may seem. So then being clear, when you look at this leg, there's a possibility for price to come and drop further to the downside to complete structure, because this is still looking entirely bearish. If you could see, we had a low here that was broken to the downside. Price came back to test, so we could continue to the downside. Pricing here is creating a series of, like, let's say lower highs and lower lows. This was some sort of like a lower low. This is a low, so price dropped down to create a lower low, pushing back up to maybe create some sort of like a lower high, but it's still in movement. So in normal price action, price here has broken structure, so we could possibly push up to create a significant lower high, of which, as we're pushing to the upside, we have all these zones. But like I said, all these are minor zones. The key price points that price will tap into to have hard reversals are those key price points on the weekly time frame. So going over to my let's say H1 time frame, these are going to be my points of focus. So pre-NFP, as you're seeing, we are most probably trying to sell, but it's not yet 1530. So if price continues to sell, I won't chase it. If it taps into maybe any of these lows, because it is a weekly high key price point, and remember, price is still somewhat bullish when you look at a higher time frame. So we could possibly tap into this for a push to the upside, so that if price drops all the way to the downside, I could have buys around here, even if it is after NFP, because this is a high key price point. You get to the downside, not this. This is the current price movement, but this. So once you have price tap into that, it's going to be a good trade. The upside, I may not so much consider it, because it has already been tapped into price. If you go to the weekly time frame, we have this. We have this. However much you're seeing price slid through. So how much did price slid through? So if we have a measuring tool from, let's say, there to this area, you could see these are just 16 pips. So if you have a 50 pip stop loss, look, all this, you're not putting a 50 pip stop loss because you think price is going to come and hit your 50 pips. No, you're putting it in to protect your account. You're giving that trade room to breathe. But now if you put your stop loss like here, you want to have like 8 pips, yet you're considering this sort of, maybe when you're looking at some sort of other entry, you're diving into supply and demand, you're diving into ICT or whatever, then you could possibly have some other sort of like entry criteria. But if you're following this, the extreme highs, it's supposed to be about 50 pips. I repeat, not necessarily because price is going to come and hit your 50 pips stop loss, but you're trying to give the trade room to breathe. So you see here, it went against you like about 16 pips. Then you have had this run for about 80. Now for someone who is waiting for a 100 pip move on a pair like your USD, NZD, NZD CHF, CAD CHF, what other pair? You could say USD CHF. 80 pips is good. You close, you almost, and you exit and wait for another opportunity. So basically, that's what I'm personally looking out for. We have CK in the building, so maybe CK can come and give his insights as well. So maybe if I could give just some other small thing you could possibly use when we are done here on gold. I always share this willingly. I don't know if there's anyone that tries to use it. It could be something extremely hard. So off gold, price is entirely bullish. And with gold, with basic technicals, you guys bash these things, but you bash these things for nothing, man. So I could have, let's say, this high. People told you these things don't work. But someone has been set there to monitor your positions. But they do, just so you know. So with gold, I'll first of all like have my overall chart analysis and ask, like, with reasonable sense, what are the odds that price is going to aggressively drop, to the downside? The chances are nearly close to zero. But with the market will always do whatever it wants, so always going to have that chance. But then the 90% of the odds are showing you that price has been entirely bullish. It doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't sold. There could be someone who sold gold, let's say around here, for this one candlestick. This is H4, by the way. So this is a whole lot of pips. You could have close to, like, let's say 100 pips, using whatever system they use. That doesn't necessarily mean that the overall market direction has shifted or changed entirely. Price is still entirely bullish. From these basic, it could be some little bit of supply and demand, the advanced supply and demand. Some guys may refer to it as basic technicals, trend line break, whatever you'd want to call it. So we know that when price breaks a key area of price, we're always shooting up to a level like this. You get. So for anyone that has been looking at gold previously and you drew this zone, you are somehow quite convinced, regardless of what other systems were saying or whatever, we had price respecting this sort of like a channel. And the moment price broke out, what did we have? We had a retest all the way back into this area. These retests can always be measured by retracement levels. So for instance, we have also, this tool is as basic as it is. It doesn't have any deep concepts or whatever. But if you're taking trades of, like, let's say a 50% or 61.8%, you could see that price kind of like reverse back onto this, then push to the upside. So we have that. So from, let's say, like an area like around here, this is a swing low to your next swing high. A price retracing off this, you could have an entry. Then price continues. So still, because of this overall understanding